Okay. Welcome to the IP address. This is the first interview that we've done here, and I'm super excited tonight. Just a little bit about what's going on with this channel, what it's about. It is basically going to be a little bit about music, art, tech. The creative process really is going to be the biggest focus of it. There's a lot of people out there doing creative things, and I know some of them. And so what I want to do is just kind of chat with them a little bit and kind of see what they do, why they do it, how they do it, and kind of, just kind of sit back and relax and just discuss some things. My first guest tonight is Jay Megginson. Now, I've known Jay for a very long time. Jay says I've known him since the 7th grade, and if I could remember the 7th grade, I could verify that, but currently at this time, I cannot verify that I was in the 7th grade. And so I'm going to go ahead and just bring him on. He is a singer, songwriter, musician from Mobile, Alabama. So please, you guys give Jay Megginson a big welcome. Hey, Jay, how are you doing?
Doing great.
You looking good? Looking good.
How are you?
I'm great. Is this the man cave? Is this the?
Yes. This is the man cave. This used to be a shed, and I deconstructed it. And with a little bit of money that I got when my father passed away, I made it into this really cool little 120 square foot room. And this is where the magic happens.
Nice, man. Is it connected to the house, or is it separate from the house?
No.
Is it?
No, it's about, I would say, 50, 75 feet away from the house. So it's just enough.
Wow, I love it. Can't even get in the house. That's great. My man cave is at least in the basement. I got to say, it's probably only about 100 square feet. So you got me on some square footage, but I'm way closer to the bathroom is all I got to say about that. So.
Well, mine's right out the front door. I don't worry about it. Whatever.
So have we really known each other since the 7th grade? Is that?
That's when I started at St. Paul's. I don't know. Yeah.
Then that's when we would have met.
I remember 7th grade.
Yes, I was there.
Because you didn't start partying until 11th grade. I remember I was there.
I didn't start what?
Partying until 11th grade.
Oh, so, that's right. That's right. And that worked out well for me, didn't it?
I was there.
Yeah, you were. You were there all the time. Yeah. So Jay, basically, I've known Jay for a long time. We a little bit of a parallel path. He works in the medical field. I work in the medical field. He is a physical therapist. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. And how long have you been a physical therapist?
22 years.
Wow. That's about. I started as a paramedic, and it's probably 25, something like that ish years, 22, 25 years. So
it's certainly an interesting field.
It is. It's funny. When I first got into it, everybody's like, why do you want to do it? And it was like, I'm like, because I'm too spastic to be a waiter. And I wanted something that I could work around music. And at the time, being a paramedic, you worked 2 to 3 really long shifts in a week, but you basically had 4 days off. And so, basically it allowed me, honestly, to do my creative stuff. I mean, that was the draw to it. And I just, honestly, I'm not kidding. If I tried to wait a table, I would just spill stuff on everyone. And who can remember that stuff? I mean, honestly.
Yeah, same here.
so I had to.
I'm afraid I wouldn't be too nice to people either. I don't tolerate the general public anymore.
Oh my goodness. But you get to put that belt on people, that physical therapy belt, and say, come on.
Right. Right. Don't fall down. It's too much paperwork.
Yeah, that's true. They get those bracelets. I want to kind of tell people a little bit about why I was so excited for you to be the first interviewee, I guess. And we're going to play some of Jay's music tonight, some material that he has collaborated with a group he's in called Barstow Revival. And we're going to play some clips tonight of some of their music and some of their tunes. And you're going to listen to it. Honestly, you guys are going to listen to it. And I have no doubt that you guys are going to love it. And as you know, Jay and I have spoken about this a few times. It's great music. If I didn't know Jay, I would still love this music. But the part about this, and I don't know how comfortable Jay is going to be with me talking about this, Jay and I, neither one of us are 22. And so Jay Jay started working on this really. I'm going to have to say it. Later in life, this was not something that Jay's always been. You've always been a fan of music, though, right? I mean, you've always been.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've always loved music. It saved my life, and yeah, and I didn't start writing music until July 1st, 2016.
I mean, that's just 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
Yeah.
4 years ago,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, I remember
Yeah.
you being into music. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I found you too through you. I think the album Boy, you were really into that, as I recall.
Yeah.
And I remember, kind of listening to it because on your recommendation, and it was a great album. And you were always so enthusiastic about stuff. And I remember you
Yeah.
being at band practices when I was in high school. We had that practice space in Crichton,
great.
in Crichton, and that was a great place. But I mean, 4 years ago, you start writing songs. Now, when did you start playing guitar? When did you start in earnest? Like,
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I've strummed. I knew
sure,
EAD, G, CD, all that. I knew that since I was like 20. No big deal there. And I would strum a little bit. Never really took it very seriously. I tried at one point to get serious about it, and then I discovered cycling, and so I cycled
Right.
for about 15 years very seriously. And thankfully, I quit cycling. And I would say about 6 years ago, I started getting real focused on guitar and music. And I'm not trying to be funny. I started writing music because I was butchering cover songs so badly that I was like,
I
just
have.
trying to write.
I can hear you on that. I've been in a ton of cover bands, and I love being in cover bands. I don't have any, and they're a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to look out and see people singing songs with you that you're playing. But I've always done just like the worst, least passable version of the songs, and I've actually
Yeah.
taken a lot of grief over the years. From hey, you didn't play that note, da 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 da. And I was like, I got the gist of
Right.
it. But originals, that's on you. I mean, that's just totally on you.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
yeah, and the other thing about doing an original, nobody knows when you mess it up. You know? But I was, funny you mentioned that because I was playing a gig early on in my playing out, which has not been that long. And, the bar owner came up to me and, asked me about a couple songs and asked me if they were originals or covers. I said, no, they're mine. She was just very blunt. She goes, well, I can just tell when you sing your own songs because you're more passionate about it.
right.
So that's the other reason I do my own stuff is because it's, it's coming from here and.
Well, that's
But when I do a cover, I try to make it my own. I don't try to do it note for note. I find that to be boring.
well, I find that to be the only way I can do it. I just don't have the skills to just, well, let me say this. And maybe you've experienced this. When I first started cover bands, there was no YouTube around. I think you could
Right.
literally teach yourself how to do an appendectomy on YouTube.
Pretty much.
And, there's every song you can just about think of. And if it's not
Yeah.
on YouTube, then nobody will know it anyway. And so it's, you can just pass it off as
Good
one
point.
of yours. I'm
Exactly.
I'm going to play a little bit of one of your songs, and I want you to kind of set it up for me. Let me get it pulled up here. This is called 29 Years. Tell me a little bit about this.
Oh,
What are we listening to?
Well, it's a song that I wrote about my love affair with my wife for our 29-year anniversary. Like many Americans a few years ago, we were in dire straits financially, so I didn't have any money. I don't want to get too into that, but anyway, so I wrote a song, and I got the idea for it. This is sort of funny. This is kind of my wife and I. For some reason, I had a tambourine in my back seat of my car
Like you do.
for like a year. Okay, and so we were switching cars out, and the tambourine was in the backseat of her car, And so I was like, that's just us, that's just so us, and then I realized I'd be driving, hitting the junctions on the road and the tambourines in the back, so that's where that line in the song, I got a tambourine in my back seat hitting all the bumps so it's to keep the beat, because it would just,
right. That's awesome.
You would hear it in the back seat. So I just kind of tied that in. And then I took the, that phrase. I like to twist phrases around, like Saturday night sinner, Sunday morning saint. So the chorus is Sunday morning sinners in a Friday night frame of mind. And kind of, and
now,
then you get the song. So that's it.
Who's on this track? Who are we going to be listening to?
Well, it's me and my buddy Drew Howard. He and I are Barstow Revival. We kind of do the Steely Dan thing. It's me and it is he and I, and there's that St. Paul's Education right there.
Then it would be he and me.
No, because it's a predicate nominative. But don't worry about it. Okay. Yeah, shut up. Whatever. Be quiet. So Drew and I was so blessed to meet Drew a couple years ago, about 2 years ago. He and I we could not be more different human beings. But when we play together, it just like you've experienced in your music career, something happens and it's really beautiful. So on the track, it's Drew and I. It is Drew and I, and Kelly Jones, formerly Kelly Rutledge,
right?
Who we went to school with.
And she's a great singer. She's a really good singer. Next time I do a project, she's getting pulled in on it. I mean, the three of you, if I'm not mistaken, I'm hearing, your vocals kind of, down the middle and in front. And you've got Drew and Kelly kind of in there.
10 and 2. Yeah.
But there's definitely and people are going to hear this in just a few moments, but there's definitely the cheesy word is chemistry, but there is. It's just a great blend of voices. There's people that can hit notes. People can hit notes all day long, but you guys have that. And again, I don't know what the word is. I could be just making this up. That there's a timbre or quality of your voices. It's just it clicks. And so, and is there anybody else in there too, or is it just?
Playing violin is a guy named Graham Ray. And you know more about recording than I do, but it was a lot of fun. I called him and he was like, yeah, sure. Never laid eyes on him. He was never in the studio. I sent him the tracks. He did 3, he does 3 passes on each song and, for a set amount of money, sends it back, we mix it. And so never laid eyes on him, and it was just, he's on 3 of the songs, I believe. And he's just amazing.
Well, the violin sounds great. It's and the overall mix is really good. It's kind of I'm just going to go ahead and play it, and then we'll talk a little bit about on the other side here. Let me make sure I'm doing this right.
I got drunk last night and the night before. Woke up this morning laying on the floor. Lord knows, girl, I've been missing you. Lord knows, girl, I've been missing you. Look down at my arm, I got a new tattoo. All it says, love you too. Lord knows, girl, I've been missing you. Lord knows, girl, I've been missing you. 29 years in the blink of an eye. You and me, girl, just one of a kind. Sunday morning sinners in a Friday night frame of mind. Sunday morning sinners in a Friday night frame of mind. Tambourine in my backseat, I'm hitting all the bumps just to keep the beat. Lord knows, while I drive on to Lord knows, while I drive on to you.
So that's just sweet. I mean, there's just that is just hits the spot. I mean, I'm not even kidding.
Well, I got a funny story about that song. We were, do I have time to tell?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we were playing at one of my favorite places to play is Page and Palette in downtown Fairhope. And we had done our gig and we were breaking down and these three ladies walked in and they were saying, well, are y'all done? And you know, we were like, yes, ma'am. We just always being polite. Yes, ma'am, we're done. And they said, well, play some more. And I'm like, well, we can't. We're packing up. And she goes, please play some more. I was like, okay, give me a tip, buy a CD, and I'll say, do a song for you. So she goes, yeah. You know, puts out some money. And so my wife is sitting in the front row in a chair. And so I grab my guitar, you know, and everybody's talking, everybody's standing, milling about. And I start singing the song, you know, just acoustic, no, you know, no mics, no amps. I'm just singing it to my wife. And I'm just staring at her and she's staring at me. And it was a moment. I mean, you know, it was
right.
Very, very powerful. Somebody got it on video. And so then I called Drew and he came and started singing with me. And so anyway, the ladies loved the song. So I talked to her a little bit afterward. And so fast forward a few weeks, she lives out in California. And I told her, I'm going to visit my half brother in California. And, you know, a few weeks later, she goes, well, do you do house concerts? I was like, I do now. You know, so I ended up doing, you know, I ended up doing a house concert for her and her husband and her friends in Auburn, California. You know, so it was just kind of a neat, yeah, you know, it's just the moment with my wife was the most important part. But it was so cool how it just kind of.
Now, is that where you're sitting on a deck? Did you film a clip of that while you're? Yeah.
Somebody did. Yeah. It's that's out in California. Mm-hmm.
So you are coast to coast. You are.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great song. And again, I think if people were listening to it, just good vocals, good songwriting, and just a good blend of tones. I mean, it's just, I think people undervalue a tone. I mean, there's more than just to playing a D chord or singing a melody. There's got to be a tone behind that. What did you got a new addition to the house, I hear.
Oh, yes, I do, yeah. Yeah, right here. This is my new baby.
Now, that wasn't on the recording.
No. On that recording, I used, I'll show you, lean forward here. I used this baby. This is my number one. This is my Gibson J45 that my sister and brother-in-law gave me.
That is sweet.
Yeah, man. And so this is my number one. And I think on that song, I actually used a Yamaha as well.
Now, what's the story behind the Martin? What was the thought? Just always wanted a Martin. I mean, they're great guitars. There's no doubt about that.
Well, I had a triple aught 28, and this is a triple aught 28 Eric Clapton, and it's a 2002. And I just got it. It's 18 years old.
18
years old, and it does not have one scratch except for my buddy Kevin put a scratch on it the other night. But.
And for people listening and watching, Martins are made in such a way, as any good acoustic guitars, they actually sound better and better with age, the way the wood develops. And so that being 18 years old that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
No, it's gorgeous. And I got my pickup. It's supposed to get here tomorrow, so I'm gonna. Well, and the reason I got it was I've gotten to the point where I need two guitars. You know, I've been going with just one for a while, and I just got to the point where I need two.
When I listen to your songs, it's very interesting to me because normally you get two guys. Hey, we're going to get together. We're going to play some, Americana, acoustic-y, or whatever you want to call it. and it's going to be two guys up there playing, you know, the heck out of some acoustic guitars, and it's Drew, right? Drew does something a little bit different, doesn't he? He's not just playing country licks. He's very atmospheric when he plays. He's like if the Edge played in Sunvolt or something like that. I mean, it's
right. I always describe Drew's guitar playing as David Gilmour and Johnny Greenwood having one child.
Right.
You know, it's just real. You know, I love how he plays. I love how he plays. And our story is he invited me to play a gig on a Friday night. I'd met him at a few open mics.
Okay.
And I just heard him play acoustic, you know. And so he hit me on a Friday at work, and I was like, "Hey, brother, somebody canceled on us. Can you come play with me?" And I was really tired. I didn't feel like doing it. And I asked Reagan, my wife, and she says, "Yeah, I think you should." And so I show up, and he's got all these amps and electric guitars, and I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be interesting." And he got my stuff. I mean, he got my songs. He got what it was about immediately. And then we played a gig the next night. I invited him to play a gig with me. And then the following Thursday night, I played at the Julep Room in Ocean Springs, and he showed up and played with me there. And he looked at me when we were done. He goes, "Well, I guess we're a duo now." I was like, "Yeah, okay, sure."
Nice.
But I love his playing. I mean, and he is a fantastic arranger. You know, I can write it, and then he comes and arranges really well. So we work really well together.
It's just a neat. It's not a direction I would have gone. Which doesn't mean anything, but it just sounds. It's just got a mood to it. I mean, you know, it's just you're turning.
And it's not for everybody.
I mean, honestly, who's gonna? You know, it's good songwriting. Now, just so everybody knows, you guys have added additional people since this recording was made, and now you're a full band all the time, or just some shows? How does that work?
Just some shows. We have full band. We've got Chris D. Miller, his name is Shaggy, on drums. It's fantastic. Ross Graham on bass. Just brilliant bass player, brilliant guitar player as well. And then a guy named Jeff Funk. You may know Jeff, JJ Funk,
right?
On harmonica. And JJ gets the stuff too.
Yes.
I mean, he's not trying to pigeonhole us into, you know, alt country, Americana.
Right.
He takes the psychedelic part and can go with it, because that's kind of how we bill ourselves is eclectic, soulful, psychedelic Americana.
Sure, no, and that rolls right off the tongue, you know.
Yeah. I had to think on that one for a second.
We're going to have marketing get back to you on that, and we'll see if we can help you out with that. So what determines whether or not it's going to be like a more of a duet kind of thing or the full thing? Now, you guys did some quarantine stuff throughout the COVID stuff. You guys did at least 2 shows, right?
We did 3. We did a trio show on the first one, and then the last 2 were a full band.
Okay.
You've been in music longer than I. I mean, full band costs a lot of money. You know, you got to pay your guys, and so people around here don't want to pay it. So there are people out there that probably are expecting to get paid then. So we'll just keep that right here between us. Yeah, right. So I mean that, you know, if somebody, but we always, whenever we try to book, I've got the best manager booker on the planet. You know, so whenever she's contacting people, she asks them, "What do you want?" And that way, you know, the way we've got it set up, like I was telling you earlier, like the Steely Dan thing. You know, if you want full band, you get full band. You want trio, you get trio. Gotcha. You want solo, you get solo. It just depends.
So do these guys come in cold, or do you guys do a practice before a show? I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, well, we'll practice, and it's not necessarily for them. It's for me. I'm not really used to playing with full band.
Sure.
And so I'm 54, but I'm still a rookie. And you know, the practice is mainly for me, my timing and rhythm and working with so many different moving parts, it's still very new to me. I feel like a fish out of water.
Well,
but it's fun.
That's kind of
fun.
That's the part of your story that resonates with me. I hear you say I'm 54. You and I are the same age. I'm 54 too. And when other people are winding down hobbies, when other people are winding down things, you've taken on this new thing, and I find that immensely inspiring because, I mean, there's a lot of mileage left. I mean, there's just a lot of mileage, and it is too common.
So.
In my history or my experience, and yours may differ. I just see too many people just wrapping stuff up. It's by the time they hit their mid-50s, as opposed to, hey, I've got some wisdom, right? Because I've done a few things. I've got maybe a little more financial security, maybe not, but hopefully, I want to spread my wings a little bit. I want to try something new. I want to do something that, whatever it is, you went the music route, but I would hope that people watching this that are on the fence about, I'm too old to do this, or I'm too old to try that, or it's not going to go anywhere, it's not going to, do anything. I hope that this would resonate with them too, and kind of, push them a little bit in the right direction.
Oh,
I mean, life is for living, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I don't have a recliner for that very reason, because I've got stuff to do. And I was, perhaps I'm kidding myself, but I just feel like I haven't hit my stride yet. I mean, I feel like there's so much more room for improvement, and, if not music, something else. I mean, I'm not going to stop. I got to keep it going.
Well,
when you stop, you die.
That's the message, man. I think that's the message. I think when I first started cooking all this stuff up and was like, okay, how do I want to do this? And who do I want to, originally I think I was going to go in a different direction, and I just started thinking about all the cool people that I've met and their stories. And so I thought, well, let me just set it up and just chat with somebody. Who am I going to think of first? Dude, you were the first person that came to mind by far.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And so I'm gonna play the next tune here and set this up. Now this song's got a little fire to it. This is Lost Hands. Set this up for me.
Lost Hands is funny you ask about that, because I've been playing with some friends of mine on Tuesday nights. I'm helping them write a song. Well, I got to arrange. They wrote it. And it's the Pulliam family. And I've been, I was talking with my friend Kevin years ago about religion, which is something we have talked about in the past. And he said something that really resonated with me. He goes, Jesus got hijacked, or something along those lines. Right. And so I thought, hey man, can I use that? And he goes, yeah, sure. And so I wrote this song, and originally it was called Jesus Got Hijacked. And then it was pretty good, not great. And then when Drew and I started playing, he arranged it a little bit differently. And then I tweaked the chorus a little bit and came up with this version. The funny part about one thing, if you could play, well, I'm going to tell you how to do your job here, but at the end of the song, we go into what I call white boy gospel. And it's we've got two local musicians, Greg Padilla and Lorianne Armour, singing backup with us. And so we go a cappella at the end, and the line is, he's going to take our lost hands and lead us all back home. So the whole song is basically based off the Beatitudes and the way I perceive
Sure.
God is. So.
Let's play a little bit of it, and then what I probably will do is I'll try to get to that end. Let me see if I can do that.
Yeah, the end is really cool, and there's a good story about it, so I'll tell you about that in a second.
Okay, here we go.
Fed 5,000, that don't include the girls. Think that me, son, it'd be a better world. Do good, don't tell others. Just keep it all to yourself. Gotta keep your heart young, not hitting on no shelf. You can catch all the stones we cast his way. You just twist what he had to say. Get in your pulpit and pump out your bullshit. One hand up with a prayer and a wish, other hand in the collection dish. Jesus got hijacked. We want him back. Jesus got hijacked. We want him back. Made all the stars and all the grains of sand. Everything evolved by the touch of his hand. He ate and he drank with the whores of the street. Dignity and respect for those whom he meets. Let's see what you look like when the cameras turn off.
All right, let me try to find that part at the end. Again, though, I mean, the quality of the song, the words, I mean, the whole thing. This is just, and given that from somebody that started songwriting just a few years ago, I mean, that's just, for me, that kind of sucks.
Well, thank you.
I mean, you know, here, I'm going to kind of bring this. How far into the song is it? About the last 30 seconds?
You know, yeah.
Let's try from here.
But it's really cool. You got to hear it because it's really cool.
Lead us all back home. It's gonna take our lost hands. Lead us all back home. It's gonna take our lost hands. Lead us all back home.
Yeah. If you could go back just a little bit, but don't worry about it. We were running out of time in the studio, and we had Greg Padilla and Lorianne Armour with us to sing that part. So we were running out of time. I believe Lorianne had to leave. So Drew said, let's go old school. We put one microphone. We all stood around the microphone, and we didn't have enough headphones, so we had to share. So we were like sitting side by side like that. And it was just amazing, you know. We did it one take.
It sounds really good. Now, tell me about the recording process. Where did you guys go? Who did it? How did you do it?
We went with Studio 78, which is owned by Adam Holt.
Okay.
And the cool thing about that was he used analog. I think it's 2-inch tape.
Wow.
I think that's right.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was really cool. So that's where, you know, it was very warm sound. It was really cool watching it. And an interesting thing about it was I have never really played with a metronome. So we sat down and he tried to do the click track with me. I was like, no, man, screw that. I'm just singing the song. So any music aficionados who hear the EP, yeah, you know, it's not to a metronome. Whatever, next one will be, but you know, it was a fascinating process.
I mean, I'm all about metronomes, and with a lot of modern recording, especially with digital audio workstations, there's a built-in click track, which I'm fine with. But if it's going to kill the groove, if it's going to take you out of the pocket, then don't do it. I mean, I wouldn't have even, if you hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have picked up on it. I mean, I'm sure if I tried to load it in, you know, to a recording device where it automatically, you know, kind of lines up,
right.
But I wouldn't have noticed. I wouldn't have noticed at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, it was interesting. The process was fascinating. I personally, I like performing much better than recording. I find recording to be very sterile and actually, but I know you have to do it. So
it's a hard process. It's I
yeah,
mean,
it's very, yes,
I
it
have worked
is.
with a lot of people in studios over the years, and it is funny for me to watch people come in. And honestly, I don't think I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't think you've ever actually listened to your own material until you've recorded your own material, because you're breaking it down to such a cellular level. Every weird
Absolutely.
note, every weird bit of timing, every weird phrasing. I didn't realize that sounded like that with this other part until just now.
Yeah.
Some people have never heard their voices really until they've gotten into a
Yeah.
studio with a mic, and it throws them off.
Yeah.
It can be it makes, I honestly think it's easier to play in front of, 3,000 to 5,000 people than it is to go in a studio, because you're just like, wow, is this what I sound like? I mean, is this what I actually,
Exactly.
it's
Because the
hard.
first time you hear it when it's flat, when the term, I don't, when
Yeah.
they first record it and it's flat, and you're
Flat.
like, oh man, I don't sound that bad.
That's the
God,
term. That's the term. That's
yeah,
the nice term.
yeah.
When they're like,
I'll never forget that.
you're a little flat on that. That's them being nice. That's just a nice way to say
Yeah.
that.
But you know what I'm talking about. The first time you record and they play it, and it's just they don't have all the dynamics on it,
Right.
the compressors and everything.
Right.
And oh man, it's like, oh God, I'm leaving, man. This is terrible.
If people
But it
knew,
works out.
if people knew what stuff sounded like from the beginning to end, I think a lot of people would really be surprised.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, this next song, Road to Damascus. Now, you have told me personally
Yes.
that this is your opus or something
Yeah.
like that. Tell me about this song.
Yeah.
Tell me why this song is so
Well,
special.
I write a lot about, I suppose, spirituality and God, and how opposed I am to religion. And however, when my heart isn't good, when my head isn't good, I always envision walking on the road to Damascus, where the Apostle Paul, I believe, had his epiphany and was saved, and I just envision walking, with God right there, talking to him and telling him I'm troubled, and I know that sounds so goofy, but it's the honest truth, and that's where I go when I lie down and I'm troubled about something. And so I started to, this, I was just messing around, and one night, and just started, putting some words down to that. And I don't know if you've ever had this experience with your writing. This is the only song, I'm in the middle of one right now that's doing this to me, but this song haunted me. I mean, when I woke up, I heard that.
Okay.
I heard, when I went to bed, I heard that. I couldn't get it out of my head. And I would get like one line, and it would be like 4 or 5 more days, I'll get another line. And finally, I was on a trip to New York, a work trip, and I was flying back, and I finally got it all down.
Okay.
And it's just, and the thing about the recording, that I heard it again, I typically don't listen to my stuff anymore, but 2 things about recording is, first is Drew's guitar solo on there.
Yes.
It's just phenomenal. I mean, the guy's he's brilliant. And then Kelly's vocal aria for the second solo is just, it gives me goosebumps. And the cool thing about the recording process was, we were at the very end, and we had Lori Ann Armour sing on it too. And so at the very end, Drew suggested that we put both their vocals together.
Okay.
And so you can hear Lori Ann's voice is the real pretty angelic voice that you'll hear.
Okay.
And Kelly's is that bluesy, woody tone. And it's when she hits her falsetto notes, it's powerful. It's just I think it's a very good song. It's not a bar song, man.
Let's listen to some of it, and then we'll talk about it on the other side. So here we go. Let's see here.
Ran out of tomorrow, no more one days. Too many dads, one man to pay. Been beat down and robbed, left here for dead. Living my life up in the rain. I'm on the road, I'm on the road. I'm on the road, I'm on the road to Damascus. Been looking for a way out of this place, living with such shame, can't show my face. Got no burning bush, a great shaft of light, got no guiding star. What's wrong, what's right? I'm on the road, I'm on the road. I'm on the road, I'm on the road to Damascus.
Wow, that's just crazy good. I mean, that's just
thank you.
that's just
Thank you.
amazing. And in fact, when we start to wrap up here, I'm actually going to restart that song and just play it out all the way after the
I wish you would.
after the fade. Actually, what I'm going to do is let me show you exactly what I'm going to do because I want people to know.
Okay.
I'm going to kind of put this up real quick. So this is the web, not the web page. This is the
I think that's SoundCloud.
yeah, that's SoundCloud, and this has all the tracks that you sent to me. And basically, if you guys are interested out there, these songs are available, and you just go to SoundCloud, and what you have to do is just type in Barstow Revival, and it'll come right up. So, you know, what we'll do is we'll let that whole thing play out. So. You said it's not a bar song, but have you played it at a bar? I mean, have you played it out in front of people? What's the reaction?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People dig it. You know, I mean, it's just I have to be picky and choosy what I play, where I play it.
Okay.
You know, and if it's more of a listening venue, I'll play it. I was blessed to be able to play for Kathy Steele at the Frog Pond here in Silver Hill, which is just, you know, if you're a musician around here and you get to play the Frog Pond, that's a big deal.
Wow, well, good.
And oh God, it was brilliant. And so I got to play it there because it's just music fans, music lovers. And so I was on stage with some phenomenal musicians. And they took it and they got it. And it was really cool. You know, but like if we're playing a bar, you know, people don't get it. That's fine. You know, we're just background in a bar anyway. So
do you, when you play with the multi-piece band, you know, do you guys do a version of this with the whole group?
No, we've tried it. And I just don't like the way it sounds. You know, I don't like it. Shaggy's the best drummer out there, but it doesn't call for drums. It doesn't call for bass. Right. Now we will use Jeff on harmonica because he can run his harmonica through effects and delay. You know, if I had a violin player, you know, I would do that. But it's not a full band song. You know, we've tried, and I don't like the way it sounds.
You would. I agree. I would. I mean, by the time you were, if you're talking to a drummer or a bass player and said, "Hey, I want you to just tap every, whatever," and it'd be so minimal that they might as well just not be playing at all. And so, what's the point?
And it's a real dynamic song. The vocals go up and down, and I honestly have a hard time staying on a specific beat. So just we've played it full band a couple times, and I was just like, not again. No.
Is this one of those types of songs? Is this one of those types of songs that you never play the same way twice? Is this? It seems very open and airy, or is this pretty click click?
The meter stays the same. We pretty much do it the same.
Okay.
Because we do have some songs where we go off and jam. But this one, if Drew wants to keep on going, man, he just gives me that nod. You get the nod. You're like, right. Okay, three more chords. Here we go.
Well, there's just no stopping Drew. I mean, come on, man.
No.
That 50 repeat delay. I mean, he can't even stop. I mean,
Nah. It's still delaying, man.
I'll be back from the bathroom before this guitar is done playing. So.
Exactly. I know.
Well, I think he's brilliant. I think his tone is
really good.
Is brilliant. It adds it. But what I think is so cool about it is, it gives you the space to do what you do, and that's how it's supposed to be. I mean, that's how it's supposed to be, And so I think he's just awesome. I think he's just awesome.
Yeah, he's been perfect for me. I've tried playing with other guitar players, and I think I'm a better musician now, and I can do it. I played with some folks, and I felt hemmed in, and clearly sure. I felt like I was the weak link, know. And I don't play 12-bar blues. I'm not I don't do that, and so don't try to solo like that on me, So it just
Every time I try to do the 12-bar thing, I'm like a bar short, and it's not pretty. It's just
square pegs round holes, man. It just doesn't work.
Man, Jay, I just want to say thanks for doing this.
Thank you. I'm having fun.
This was awesome. And again, I hope that the message is clear, that if you're out there and you're thinking about some creative process,
for sure,
then just please get out there and do it. Jay, I'm going to say goodnight. I do appreciate all your time, and keep writing. Just keep doing it. And
I will. Thank you. I appreciate the time and the exposure. And if anybody wants to look me up, hit me on Facebook.
Absolutely. Jay's on Facebook. Jay Megginson, also Barstow Revival has a page. Is that?
Yeah. It's Barstow. It's not Barstool.
It's not Barstool. That's not Barstool. So Jay and I were talking about this the other day. I just keep defaulting to Barstool because I was a roommate with a band called Barstool Messiah. And so it's like, I can't, you guys got to start having meetings or something. That's the first thing to go when you're 54 is the bar something, but no, it's a great name. And you guys do have a web page. And like I said, I'm going to put this SoundCloud page up at the end. But Jay, I just want to say goodnight and thank you for all your time. We certainly appreciate it, and looking forward to maybe having you back and doing this again with the next round of material.
I would love to.
Yeah, this is great.
Love to, man.
All right. Good night.
All right. Good night, man. Thank you so much.
So really, I just hope that everybody, I'm not even kidding about the message thing of how important that is to get to a place at any point. It doesn't matter if you're old or if you're young. But if there's something that you want to do, especially that involves a creative process, just, get out there and do it. There's no time like now. And there's all kind of reasons not to do it. It's really easy I think we often just put up our own barriers about why I can't do something. And I would just say, take a shot, take a chance, do it. If worst case scenario is you fall flat on your face, and whoop-de-doo. If the worst thing in the world is that you you're not successful at a creative thing, you just try it again and keep doing it. With all that's going on in the world, I think that art serves a lot of purpose. It can reflect, what's going on at the time. People can find solace with art and music. And so if you can be a part of that, or if your thing is not being creative, if it's rock climbing, I don't know about rock climbing, that's dangerous, but any kind of thing that you think that you want to try, I mean, don't hold back because you don't think you can do it. Give it a try and give it a shot. So I want to again say thanks to Jay for helping me out with this, getting this started for me, and he definitely came through for me. So I am going to pull up his SoundCloud page, and I'm just gonna end the show and play Road to Damascus in its entirety, and I do hope that you listen to it. And if you don't have time tonight, this of course will be recorded. You can listen to it later, and you can also go to SoundCloud and listen to it, at your convenience. It's a great song from a great songwriter and a great band. So I'm going to say goodnight. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you guys listening in, and I'm sure Jay appreciates it too. So you guys have a great day.
I'm on the road to Damascus. Been looking for a way out of this place, living with such shame, can't show my face. Got no burning bush, a great shaft of light, got no guiding star. What's wrong, what's right? I'm on the road, I'm on the road to Damascus. know you've been, know you've been, know you've been, I know you've been. Know you've been, know you've been, know you've been, I know you've been. I'm on the road, I'm on the